Insider. It's a Thursday edition of our program, and we are honored to have a live guest in our studio. Right off the bat, it is UK President Dr. Eli Capilouto. Thank you so much for coming over.
Glad to be here.
Coming right down the street, right down Nicholasville Road. And we were going to talk a little bit about academics and a lot about athletics. And the two intersect a great deal, probably more than people would like to think about, but they need to, in my opinion. My first question to you is, how's it going? Are you enjoying your stay in Kentucky?
Every day's better than the previous day. I've met the most terrific people in the world who've been entirely supportive. UK is a remarkable place. It's made so because of the affection and support you find throughout the Big Blue Nation, throughout so many constituent groups. Terrific faculty, incredible students, wonderful staff we're blessed with. Couldn't be any better for me.
You grew up in Alabama, and you're from Montgomery. You went to University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and as you were telling me earlier, except for 4 years in Boston, you lived in Alabama. Why did you want this job? Why was this attractive to you? Because I know you did your homework on this place, and I'm sure you found out about the BBN pretty quickly.
That I did, but I really wasn't looking for a job. I had a recruiter convince me that this was a special place, that I needed to take a look. Came on the first interview. I don't know how serious I was. I told my wife when I got in the car to go back to the airport, I gave her a call and said, gee, I didn't do well on this interview. She said, don't worry about it. You weren't looking for a job. We got a great situation where we are now. You have a terrific job, wonderful home. I said, no, you don't understand. I think I like these people. So it started from the first interview. I was honored to be invited back to be amongst the finalists, and I'm so pleased we made the decision.
And you obviously did better on that interview than you thought.
I guess so. The other thing that was attractive to me, there are only a handful of campuses in the country that have the array of colleges and disciplines that we have. To have an academic health center birthed by a land-grant university, all the richness that comes from medicine, dentistry, law, design, engineering, the solutions to the problems we face as a country today are going to be found at the intersections of the disciplines. That's why UK's future is so bright.
What was your perception of the University of Kentucky when it came to college athletics? Because it crossed paths more than once with UAB and obviously with the University of Alabama as you were coming up. So what was your perception of UK?
Well, it's hard to miss the tradition of winning and excellence in basketball. Everybody in Alabama certainly knew that Bear Bryant coached at Kentucky, and I found since I arrived that not too many people here have forgotten it.
Right.
I recall my high school football coach, a fellow by the name of Billy Livings, who passed away last year, was recruited to Kentucky by Bear Bryant. Bear Bryant then relocated to Texas A&M, but I always had that connection. And I still stay in touch with his wife, who was a Kentuckian. So I have all kinds of connections that I've known throughout the years. I certainly remember watching some great games on TV. I remember the night when Kentucky defeated Alabama in football. I happened to be in a restaurant in Birmingham, Alabama, and had to put everybody in the place on suicide watch. So hope we do that again in October.
There you go. Oh, you probably couldn't believe your eyes, could you, when that happened?
Well, I'm going to tell Mitch Barnhart I'm going to be the first person to write my share of the check for the penalty that would be imposed for storming the field, because I'll be leading the pack.
Money well spent.
Yeah.
Dr. Eli Capilouto is in the studio with us, of course, the president of the University of Kentucky. And not long after you took the job, you're up on stage in New Orleans with a bunch of happy young men and a coach who was having his hair mussed up finally by his players, and they were handing him a big national championship trophy. That had to be a lot of fun for you.
that was a thrill, and I was so glad to be standing there in some ways trying to represent all those people who came before me, who make dreams like that come true, and then the Big Blue Nation, who, that's what really motivates a team like that. People want to be a part of it. Coach Cal stresses all the factors that we think are going to lead to success in our student athletes, both on the court and off. I was thrilled for them.
People take shots at Calipari because his kids, some of his players, everybody wants to say all of them, some have gone on after 1 year of college basketball in a rule that the colleges did not create, and I know you guys don't like. But he was at the TV station the other day, and we've got some sound bites from him we'll play a little later in the show, talking about the academic record of his players. And it's pleasantly surprising. It may not be surprising for you, but I think a lot of people might be surprised at how well his kids do in the classroom. Does that surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me when I know the tradition and the expectation we have. Yesterday when I met with our athletic director, Mitch Barnhart, he shared with me some exciting news that we'll be releasing in the next few days about the grade point averages by team in UK athletics. Another success story. We're unrelenting when it comes to improving our academic success. So it is a culture within our athletic department. I tell people often the success we've had in raising our graduation rates over the last 10 years during Mitch's tenure has been exceptional. So no, I'm not surprised, to tell you the truth. I now expect
I was about to say, you expect that. It's funny now, I just flashed on something. When you were hired, a lot of people speculated and knowingly told me, he'll bring in his own AD. Presidents like to do that. Some do. Did it even cross your mind, hey, I might want to go out and get my own guy, or how did that play out in your mind, when you first met Mitch?
Working with Mitch has been a delight. I think we have done something that is unprecedented in the country. First of all, because of his sound management of an athletic department and our financially strong position, to be able to point with pride to an athletic department that is funding $65 million of a $100 million science building that we'll break ground on in the near future is an incredible achievement. It indicates athletics' commitment to our academic enterprise. It's a reflection on our values. I couldn't be prouder of the work he's done.
People like to say that athletics, I can't even remember how long I've heard this, and I'm sure you have too, is the front porch to universities. Is that fair? Is that accurate? Do you like that?
Athletics, like so many things we do at a university, builds community, and all our communities intersect. A thrill for me was the spring game we had. There were 50,000 plus fans enjoying the brotherhood and sisterhood of the day. They started tailgating early in the morning, and it was there was no opposition that day. It was just being part of the UK family. So that's the community we build in athletics.
And speaking of, I know that your athletic staff, they all look at each other as family members, and it permeates throughout the university in different departments. I've got to think it was difficult for you, and your first year, basically, you guys decided to make a change with your head football coach, a guy who dearly loved the university, was an alum. I know that it's never easy to make decisions like that, but what was that like for you to have to deal with that? I know that I don't know if you had to step in to do much, but other than sign off. But what was that like for you?
Well, first of all, that is a responsibility that Mitch Barnhart meets head on. I think Mitch is a passionate fan, but he is a consummate professional when it comes to assessing where we were. This was the decision he made, and I think, and I was entirely supportive, I think, though, the way he handled it is, again, a testimony to how we do things at Kentucky. To have a beloved coach, everybody wanted him to be successful. To make that kind of decision, but to have him coach his final game at Commonwealth in front of a very appreciative crowd, His team was able to carry him off the field. Then Mitch was able to move. You got to remember how competitive it was at that time. You had
Yep.
5 or 6 top positions open. Mitch had started early, got a couple of week jump on everybody, and we got our first choice.